Hello and welcome back to the Not Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Today's exclusive interview with former Kilmarnock defender and current Scotland international Stuart Findlay, out in America at the moment with Philadelphia Union. Started this season with Kilmarnock, where he's been for the last few. A well-loved figure at Rugby Park after 144 appearances over a couple of loan spells and then a permanent spell. But as the turn of the year came in, decided that a new chapter was to be written in the MLS, an opportunity too good to turn down with Philadelphia Union. So he's now gearing up for the new season over there, as well as taking part in the CONCACAF Champions League, progressing through to the next round of that. Just as I record this, the final results just coming in from there. But we hope you do enjoy this video. It touches on a wide range of topics from his move over there, the sort of reasons behind it, why he didn't initially think it would be something that he'd fancy, and why his mind has sort of changed on that, how he's finding life in Philadelphia, a bit about his time in Kilmarnock, Scotland ambitions, and a wee bit more along the way as well. So we hope you do enjoy. Do remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, take it easy. So obviously it's probably been quite a bizarre couple of months for you. I can imagine maybe at the start of the season, moving to a different continent in the middle of a pandemic wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, like where I am now compared to where I was a couple of months ago is just incredible. Like, if you told me this was going to happen, I'd have laughed at you. Like, one, I didn't think I would have fancied it myself, and two, to get an opportunity like this isn't something that everybody's lucky enough to have. But when the club got in contact with me, I spoke to them about their vision, what they wanted to do as a club going forward, and you realise how much MLS is improving every year. It was an opportunity I knew that I just couldn't knock back. I mean, it was a hard decision leaving Kilmarnock. The club means a lot to me. I've been there for a long time, but I'd been there that long. I think it was probably the right time for me to move on from the club, and I couldn't think of a better place to take the next step in my footballing journey.
I think spoke to a few different managers. I don't know what it is. It seems to be like all the sort of long-serving players and managers in the SPFL this season just decided to all depart in the one season. Don't know if it's a lack of fans or whatnot, but the players and that sort of have that sort of, maybe in modern day football at least, you've, especially at clubs like Kilmarnock when the turnover's so high, you've maybe got 3 or 4 years before it's like, right, you need to move on to the next challenge, things like that.
I mean, I wouldn't say as much that. I mean, like, anybody that knows me knows what Kilmarnock meant to me as a club, and I was happy to stay there for as long as it was a possible opportunity. But then when that's before something like this comes up, and before you know, you've got such a exciting opportunity in front of you, and there can't be many people who have been in my situation that would have turned down a chance to come to a team that they're playing in international competitions. They won. They were the best team over the full season in America last year. It's a good side I'm coming to, and it's a side that I think can really improve me as a football player and can improve me as a person, give me new life skills living somewhere like this. It's an exciting opportunity for me and my fiancée to come here and make a new life of it as well. I think personally and professionally, it ticked all the right boxes for me.
Because I think the last sort of, I know it's not European games, but it's like the sort of American version of the Champions League and things like that. I mean, you had Connah's Key Nomads a couple of seasons ago in the Europa League, and like last year out in Costa Rica playing in sort of an equivalent tournament. I mean, just shows you sort of that side of things as well is just completely brand new for you.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's just, I was sitting talking to Leon, the other new guy that we've signed, who was just signed from Germany, and the two of us were sitting on the pitch in Costa Rica the day before the game, saying to each other, what were you doing 10 weeks ago? And 10 weeks ago I was playing my last game on like a snowy pitch at Almondale. Now I'm sitting in Costa Rica, like, nothing against where I was, but just to have such a different career. As I said, it's definitely one that I'm excited. I'm getting ready to take with both hands.
I can imagine being at Almondale myself a couple of times this season. If I was there on the snow, I'd jumped the first plane back to Bells Hill and New Stevenson where I am, never mind Philadelphia. But no, I mean, how have you sort of found the first few weeks? I can imagine that moving over there in the current because looking over in America and stuff, like I was at, where was that the weekend, like Fur Park and things like that the weekend, and you look at WrestleMania's get 20,000 folk in. It's a bit different COVID world over there.
Yeah, I mean, COVID's been a bit of a nightmare for me to get here in the first place. I don't know if it's been documented or whatever, but I got stuck in, I had to go to Poland to like try and sort my visa because there's such a backlog with the visa process.
I think I don't know if you know him, Cammy Smith. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
I think he's the same. That he went to, was it India 11? He had to go to Poland and then out to the USL. But can imagine.
Yeah. Like, I think I spoke to Cammy and he was quite lucky in a way that he wasn't there for too long. I ended up getting stuck in Poland for the best part of 10, 11 days. And it was one of the ones that's hard because it's hard to try and keep your fitness up. You don't know when you're going to get out of the country. And it was hard, I'm not going to lie. But I eventually got the clearance, got myself over here. And the only downside to it was the fact I was over there, the fact I hadn't trained for 7 or 8 weeks. It was always going to take me a few weeks to get up to speed. But I spoke to the manager. The manager was fully aware that I need time to get back to where I was, especially come back from an injury as well. But now that I'm here, like this, we're playing, obviously we've got a game on Wednesday night and I think we're allowed 50% capacity in the stadium, so to be able to have any fans would have been amazing, but to be able to have 50%, which you're looking at a good 7,000-8,000 probably being able to get into the stadium, it's going to be really nice to be able to get fans backing us again, and it's something I'm definitely looking forward to.
I can imagine that's probably going to be a culture shock for you, given that you've played in front of an empty Rugby Park from the part of the season you were there at Kilmarnock.
Yeah, I mean, it was always the same with the fans at the start. You were just happy to be back on the pitch, but then the novelty of that soon wears off, and I understand that health is obviously most important for everybody, but the sooner you can get fans back in, the better. Like, as you said, even watching like the Golf Masters yesterday, just to have some supporters in, that just makes such a difference. That's what everybody plays sport for, to get fans in, and I'm looking forward to be able to experience a stadium that's got that again on Wednesday night.
You were saying earlier that perhaps that a move to America would perhaps not be on your agenda a wee while ago. What was it that made you? I know there'll be lots of different things, but what sort of changed your mind about Philadelphia Union?
I mean, the main reason was that I just never thought about it. It wasn't something that I ever had expected to happen. Like, you hear about people getting these moves and you always wonder where they've gotten from. I'm sure people are thinking that about me as well, but it's as soon as they speak to you, as soon as I got the phone call off my agent and said, look, we've got an offer, but it's something different, and then you listen to it, you hear it out, you speak to all the different parties involved, and as soon as I started speaking to the club, all I got was a good feeling off everybody that I spoke to. Like, they had a good plan in place. They liked what they saw from me. They explained what they expected from me, and it was things that I was already expecting from myself and things that I'm willing to do. And I think it's just a perfect fit for myself. Hopefully, I can get myself back up and running to full capacity as soon as I can, and as soon as I get on the pitch, I can start to repay the faith, and hopefully I can build on whatever I've done with Kilmarnock and go from strength to strength.
Because I know, no doubt you'll have had offers, especially coming to the end of your Kilmarnock contract, both sort of north and south of the border. But is this the first time you've been offered something like quite as drastic in terms of a lifestyle change?
I mean, there's always like little bits of interest throughout the years. I remember there's a little bit about me going on loan to maybe Scandinavia and stuff when I was like 17, 18. And like, it was just something that it was too big a risk for me to take something like that on. But then something like this comes in, it's a solid 2 years I'm here for at least, playing at a really established club now who've been a major part in MLS for the last few years. And it's, as I just said, everything seemed to come together at the right time. The time with Kilmarnock was coming to the right time. The new season here was just about to start. As I said, everything just seemed right. And after that, the initial shock of getting offered something like this, it's sort of, the more I thought about it, the clearer it became. It's something that I had to do.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know the facilities in Kilmarnock, you're not exactly walking up at a park and things like that. And but I can imagine the facilities over in MLS, especially Philadelphia, looking at the club and stuff, is just completely mind-boggling compared to what you were used to.
Yeah, I mean, like Kilmarnock, it was what it was. I had everything that we could possibly need. Like, again, it helped me for the last 3 or 4 years, so I've got absolutely nothing negative that side. But yeah, you're right. It's just the money involved, obviously, in the MLS. Teams have got the money to spend on the new stadiums, the state-of-the-art training ground and stuff, and it's something that you feel a privilege to be part of, to be able to have these facilities and make yourself a better player. And I just hope I can make the most of them and do what they expect me to do here. That's the most important thing. The facility that is always a bonus. The main thing is that I try and get myself on the park as soon as possible and start to show what I'm all about on the field.
Yeah, because I know the thing is, you won't get to play at Parkhead, you won't get to play at Ibrox and these type of stadiums, but when you think in the MLS, and I mean, you can go to the Yankee Stadium and places like that, proper, well-known places, it's not exactly like you're going to kick a ball about a park, you know what I mean? It's a good league.
Yeah, I mean, like, Atlanta Stadium's one of the Mercedes-Benz Arena is one of the best stadiums I think you could possibly get anywhere now. Then our home ground as well doesn't hold as much as some of the other ones, but I was out training on it today and it's incredible. As I mean, like, and we were in Costa Rica playing at their top team stadium as well last week. So you're going to get experiences. As I said, the thing about Parkhead and Ibrox, yeah, they're amazing, but I've played at them both in double figures amount of times. This is all something new for me. It's something to push me. It's something to test myself, and it's just something completely different. I think it's a challenge that I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into.
Obviously, you spent a fair bit of time at Kilmarnock, even though you're saying perhaps it was an option you couldn't turn down to that. I doubt it would have made leaving Kilmarnock any less easy.
No, I mean, the sort of the action I got from fans when I eventually left on social media and stuff was actually like blown away a little bit. I don't think there was any negative comments at all on the full scenario, and it meant a lot to me because the club means a hell of a lot to me. It's somewhere that later down the line I'd like to go back to one day because I just feels the place that I belong, like at some point again. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy to leave Kilmarnock. It never was going to be easy, but I'm just glad that I'm leaving for something that is exciting me so much, and it's at least I'm leaving for a good reason, and it's not ending on like a sour term, which some people might do with a club. So yeah, it was sad to leave, but in the same way, I was happy with the way that it ended.
Did you? I know you were only there a couple of weeks, but I'm assuming you probably didn't have much time to get to know Tommy right. Now that he's obviously taken over from Alex Dyer. No,
I didn't. To be fair, I had one meeting with him really, and I felt a bit bad. It was a meeting of me going in, hi Tommy, but I think hi and bye. But like, I still keep in contact with Gary Dicker and Rory McKenzie quite a lot, like, and Callum Waters, three of them I talked to quite a lot. They're still at the club, and they're saying that they're quite impressed with the way it's been going. The short time I was there, like, I had good feeling for where the club was going to go under him. So I hope that this season, obviously, in a tough position, but if they can get them out of this position, finish the season safe, and then I think they can go from strength to strength next year.
Yeah, it was just because I think having spoke to Alex there a few times, he was a lovely guy, but you know how football works. Sometimes things just don't work, and at the end, that's just sort of what happens in football.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Dyer's got a great rapport with the Kilmarnock fans, obviously, under Steve Clarke times, and he took the club at a difficult time when Alessio left. Like, the club wasn't nowhere near where it should have been after the Steve Clarke era. After what Alessio left, where he left, it was tough for Alex Dyer, but he came in, done the job at the hardest possible time with the Corona pandemic as well. And I think all we can do as a club at Kilmarnock is thank him for all the effort he put in. Yeah, towards the end it didn't work, but that's happened with the best managers around the world. Like, just sometimes it doesn't work. Like, you've run your course, things need a change. And I think he might have known it needed a change, and the club made that decision. But I think, again, for everything that he'd done at the club, I think all we can do is thank him, because he was there during the great times. And then he was willing to put his hand, like you said, on the line when it was a tough time, and done everything he could for the club, and for that I think the club will always be grateful for him.
Yeah, I think people forget that. Maybe not a wee bit, perhaps Kilmarnock fans would disagree definitely, but I think he will be remembered for that period under Steve Clarke, just for how good it was, because when you see Hearts are coming back into the league, Aberdeen, Hibs and Dundee United getting stronger year by year, and probably unlikely that Kilmarnock it'll be much more difficult for Kilmarnock to push for third like that again.
Yeah, I mean, you can never say never. I think we've got the belief in the core of the squad at Kilmarnock that a lot of the squad were there when we got third place, so we expect to win games of football. When I'm saying we, I know I'm not longer there, but I still feel like I'm part of it. Like, the club expects to do well. The club do not expect to be second bottom of the league, I can assure you of that. And I know every single person that changes will be itching to change it. So, as I said, if we can get out of this season, get ourselves safe, that's the most important thing this season, put it to bed. And then hopefully next season, we've shocked people before when we got fifth, we shocked people when we got third, so I don't see why Kilmarnock can't shock people again. Yeah, it will be hard because there's a lot of good teams in the league, but there were a lot of good teams in the league when we did do it, so there's no reason why the club can't go and be what it was a few years ago under Tommy Wright and under the players that he's got.
Obviously, the manager then was Steve Clarke. You're going to be giving him a phone when it gets to the end of May time, saying that I'll come back for this bus you're taking up to Wembley and things like that.
I mean, I'll leave that down to him. Obviously, he's got a squad just now of maybe 23, 24 that he's using, but all that I can do is try and get myself playing in Philadelphia. My main aim just now is to get myself to the level I want to be here, show them what I'm all about, because they're the ones that put this faith in me. And the manager knows what I can do. He's worked with me long enough. He knows that if I'm playing at my best, he knows he can rely on me whenever he needs me. So if I do really well, you never know what could happen. But I need to make sure that I'm on the pitch, make sure I'm doing well for Philly first, and then if anything international comes, it'd be the biggest honour of my life to go to a major tournament. Of course it would be. It'd be for anybody, and I'm still aiming for it. Of course I am. I want to be there, but at the same time, if I do well for Philadelphia, hopefully that side it will take care of itself.
I think it's I think Lewis Morgan got it a bit when he went over there as well, maybe to a lesser extent Johnny Russell, was that because you're out in the MLS, is it a bit out of sight, out of mind? Now, I don't particularly agree with that, but because you're not in like the EFL or Premier League, Scottish Premiership, on not the other side of the world, a wee while away, was that something you consider in terms of your Scotland career?
I'll be honest with you, no, because I've been fit for Kilmarnock for the last 12 months and I wasn't able to get in any of the squads. So if the harsh reality is, I probably wasn't good enough to get in the squad recently. I wasn't playing at the level I should be playing at, and I think coming here, you're playing against probably on average a slightly higher calibre of player. You're playing with better players. You can bring yourself on, and if it doesn't get me in the Scotland squad, then there's nothing else I can do. I've came here now. I'm happy to be here, and I just want to do well. And then, but you look at Johnny Russell's able to get in the squad, and I think if you're good enough, no matter where you're playing, there's players playing in Europe that can get into the Scotland squad now. I think there is a pathway there. So if I do well and put my name in the reckoning, then I can leave up to the manager. But at the same time, all I can do is make sure I'm playing at the top of my level out here, and then we can always see what happens.
Yeah, and I always saying football's not what you know, it's who you know, and you've got a fairly decent number. So I'm sure you're about right. Just in terms of, it must be a bit of a weird one for you because your season sort of ended, but you're still sort of continuing with the 2020-21 season in terms of Kilmarnock, because you're going straight from this we're currently in here to the new one in the MLS and fit and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've had my break now. I mean, I was out with my hamstring injury in 2019 and I missed all in. I think I missed 10 weeks of football. So I've missed longer during this break. So this is the longest I've ever went without kicking a ball. So I'm more than had a break, and I'm more than ready to get going. I feel that's been my summer break now, and now I'm happy that I can play all the way through to the end of the year, and hopefully that time off gave me that freshness I need, and I can hit the ground and just keep going and go from strength to strength as the season progresses.
You were saying obviously one of the better teams in the MLS this season, last season, and you'll be hoping to sort of push on for silverware maybe?
I mean, yeah, when you speak to the manager and speak to the players, it's a bit of a mentality that we expect to win every game if we play our best. I mean, the season starts away to Columbus Crew, who won the MLS Cup last year, and then we've got Miami at home. So it's not the easiest start in the world, but we're looking at it as a club that we can win every game. Like they showed last year, they can beat the top clubs as they did because they were the top clubs. So yeah, they might have lost a few players in the off season, but they've signed another couple, and then there's a really good batch of young boys involved at the club. So I think everybody here is really optimistic for the season ahead, and hopefully, if they can repeat last year, it'd be perfect.